Hey guys, I'm Katie Room from Periapsis Press,
I'm David Room.
and we're doing some more Legos today. A little bit later than usual. We're watching a little bit of the Rankin Bass Hobbit with our kids. We let them stay up a little bit late, and we had a nice time. So we're getting to it a little bit late, but we're gonna do some.
Yeah, we've got to keep going to get this thing done. We're going to get it done before the end of the year. So I'm just posting a link quick on Twitter here, and then we'll get started. And I have to eat a little bit of sugar and caffeine because I'm a bit worn out right now. But then we will get started. Okay, there we go. Cool. And you can go ahead and start.
Okay. Will you pass me the scissors?
Yeah. Nope. Yeah, I need to caffeinate here quick.
We're opening bag 31 of Lego Rivendell. And there are 49 bags total. So we are making progress.
Yeah, definitely half done. Definitely over half done.
And we're supposed to open bag 32 at the same time.
Nice. A few people are here. So William Jeffrey Rankin is here.
Hi.
Michael Caine is here. And Doug Wise is here.
Nice. Thanks for showing up, guys.
It's kind of fun doing this on random nights, just to see when people are available and what's going on. So I think we know there's a few other streams on certain nights that some of our viewers will probably watch instead, so we don't want to stream over like the I think with crazy
Iron Age
Nights thing on Friday.
And he does the comic shop Wednesday.
Yep.
Actually, tomorrow he has John A. Douglas on to reveal his book cover. So I'm excited about that. Tad pixelated. And High Fly Fox Pro. It looks good on my end.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for me too.
Okay.
Yeah, hey Fly Fox Pro. It was fun interacting with you a bit on Twitter today. That was really funny. The timing of that tweet that you made. I was sure that was a subtweet, but it's really funny that it wasn't.
Okay. Michael Caine says the resolution is good for him.
Sorry, I know it's rude to eat on stream, but I gotta get some sugar in me. All right.
Hey, it's the Ultimate Kahuna. Hi. I feel like we're starting a little bit late, but I'm seeing people that I don't usually see in the stream. Just because it's a different day. That's nice.
Yeah, I feel like I still don't have a handle on what exactly the best nights and times for people is. Like it seems like I know we have a lot of people in different time zones from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're kind of night owls compared to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Part of that's just because we don't put our kids to bed super early,
Mm-hmm.
unlike a lot of people.
And so they don't get up super early. That's that's the trade-off, and I take it. Okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Fly Fox Pro says it's perfect for us in the western states.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know we have both. We have people east of us and people to the west of us, so it's interesting just seeing what works. I myself, I like to listen to live streams late at night. I often will listen to Comicsgate streams very late at night, like while I'm getting ready for bed and while I'm like right before I fall asleep. And then I'll finish them in the morning while I'm at work. So they're fun because sometimes they start really late. Like sometimes they'll even start at 1 a.m. or.
Are you ready to have it over? Or
yeah.
Should I do? Okay.
Okay, so I think we're building this sort of wedge-shaped piece that goes on the side, right?
I'm not sure yet. I didn't look at the.
Okay.
Okay, so Michael Caine is central. William Jeffrey Rankin is east. This is the only time I can get anything done here.
Yeah, that's how it is for us too. And I don't know if it's the most productive, but I like having somebody on some kind of low intellectual demands live stream on in the background while I work, because it kind of feels like you're working with friends.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the Comicsgate stuff. It's like I kind of pretend that they're my friends. It's really sad, but.
And Ultimate Kahuna is in the west.
Yeah,
so we've got a good mix here, just tonight.
It's fun. It's fun. Kind of knowing that there's people all across the country that we're getting to hang out with.
Yeah. Doug Wise is a central owl as well.
Okay.
Fly Fox Pro said, I had been taking a break from Twitter and was listening to some of D. James Kennedy sermons on YouTube and his talk about ECT.
Evangelicals and Catholics together.
With MacArthur and Sproul came up.
Interesting. It's interesting times. That's for sure. I don't like to get into it too much with I was just trying to adjust. Okay. I was getting some glare off my webcam. It looks
I didn't turn on the light.
Yeah, we should do that. That's probably. Then I could bring my laptop camera down. Yeah, William Jeffrey Rankin says it's relaxing. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's our hope for this, is that it's something that is just a nice thing for people to listen to. And at the end of a long day of work, you want to work on your creative projects. You don't want to listen to something that's going to stress you out.
Right.
You honestly don't want to listen to something that is super super thought-provoking or anything like that either. So I hope that we do that for people.
Well, yeah, that's why this is a chill stream and not.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna. Sorry, guys. Be a minute here while I get this, because it always turns on without remembering my previous settings.
Yeah. So Fly Fox Pro. I was just gonna say, I don't usually like to get into theology too much on Twitter, but I was just feeling kind of salty, and lately all my shit posting has kind of taken off. So, and I like to just tweet stuff out sometimes just to get a feel for whether people agree with me about things or not. And that was one that I really didn't expect many people to agree with me on, but it was kind of the interaction that I got off of it was kind of interesting. Anyway, so I was glad I did. Did you let him in?
Who? Oh,
Free Narnian.
Free Narnian.
Free Narnian is here.
Hey.
Good evening, everyone.
An ultimate kahuna. Yes, we can be pretend friends.
Yeah. What? Wait. What? Why couldn't we be pretend friends?
Right. I actually had a really interesting conversation with my daughter today. So, we read and watched the first Harry Potter movie with her
A while back.
a while back. Sort of.
Maybe even last year, right? Was the first time
No.
you saw the first one?
No, it was earlier this year.
Okay.
Several months ago, though. Now you're asking me to think and talk and build at the same time.
You know what? I can keep going for a little bit.
Yeah. Since I just started talking.
Yeah, this is not a good place for you to start either. It's kind of a
and that worked pretty well. We sort of did it. We would read a little bit, we'd watch a little bit, we'd read a little bit, we'd watch a little bit. And then we wanted to watch the second one because it was fall, and that's when I feel like watching the movies. And we had her aunt over and we watched it, the whole thing. That was with Nano, right?
yeah.
And then afterwards, putting them to bed, my daughter had questions.
Yeah, that was kind of when I realized, okay, she's starting to understand a lot more of what she watches than she did even a couple months ago. Because she's only 3.
Mhm.
She is, I think, pretty smart for her age, but she's just 3.5. So some might debate whether she should be even watching like PG rated movies.
Right. Up until that point, she had questions, but they were never. There was never anything that bothered her over much. Like the biggest thing that bothered her when we watched the beginning of the second one was the cakes like falling apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this time she asked, how did that guy make Ginny do those things? And she was clearly worried about it and concerned. And so I was like, it's all pretend, go to sleep, right? So we had been partway through the book, but we hadn't finished the book. And so just today we finally finished it. And we reached that part where they sort of explain what happened to Ginny. And like we talked about, oversharing and being friends with people that you don't really know.
Okay, so that's where this was going.
It's kind of funny because in the book it's a lot clearer that like he didn't just like automatically start controlling her. It was a lot of him pretending to be friends with her, listening and sympathizing.
She didn't have many friends at school, right?
Mm-hmm. And she had a lot of anxiety and worries and stuff, and she shared them. And he pretended to be her friend. And that she didn't seem as worried about it from the book. I don't know if that was because of my explanation, or just things aren't quite as dramatic, or if she was just like, Mom, come on, let's find out what happens next. But
it can be more engrossing as a movie, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're just going through a book story, the way it plays out in your head, I'm assuming it's the same even for a child, right? It's just different than watching something.
Yeah.
And she can kind of get very engrossed in movies. when she's watching a movie, she kind of sits up and is very, very focused on the screen and
Yeah.
doesn't look around much. Hey, Corn Boy Animations.
Hey, Corn Boy. I was meaning to ask you what you were building / what you were animating last time you were in the chat, but I missed my opportunity.
Oh no, Michael Caine has a really cute story about his daughter getting having a meltdown when Wally got hit by lightning.
Oh no. No. Nightmare Before Christmas. Wow. Hey, that's interesting.
I've never, that's a movie I've never actually seen.
I haven't either,
And-
but it
What?
like the ad always
Yeah,
creeped me out.
I would like to see it now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard enough good things about it at this point that
Yeah, that's a must. It gets that was one of my favorites as a child, actually. I loved it. I probably wore that DVD down into dust. Oh,
Yeah, so we watched the beginning of the second Harry Potter movie
quite a while ago.
quite a while ago with her when I got the Lego set of Privet Drive's house.
Because that has the car that you can pull the window out with
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah, and all of the play features are from the beginning of that movie. And she was really taken with the little Lego cake. And then we were watching that scene and the cake dropped. And she didn't cry, she didn't do anything, she just ran away.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
I hated Dobby as a kid.
He's a little odd.
I thought he was just because I remember there was overlap in my childlike brain between Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter because the movies were coming out at the same time, and so Dobby made me think of Gollum.
Yeah.
And so I just hated him. I hated his voice, and that he was obviously putting Harry into so much distress that it wasn't until later that I was able to begrudgingly accept Dobby's existence.
And then he died.
And then he died.
And then he died, and then yes, and then a part of me felt avenged.
So, based on the fact that our daughters seem to really understand a lot of Chamber of Secrets, I decided that it was time to watch Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh.
So we watched this past weekend. We watched A New Hope on Friday night again, and then we watched Empire Strikes Back. And she seemed to get the significance of Darth Vader saying that he was Luke's father. So I think by that point in the movie, she was kind of zapped, just sort of fried by, how intense the movie was and how long it had been going on. But she definitely got it and was kind of like, that's not good.
Do you watch any particular edition that's your favorite, or do you just
I mean, I don't generally like pirate stuff, so I just recently got the 4K versions and just watching those. So to be honest, I don't really find any of the special edition changes super duper offensive. Probably my guess is that some of the stuff in Return of the Jedi is the worst. But
yeah,
I was pleasantly surprised because it had been quite a long time since I'd actually watched um watched A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. I was pleasantly surprised by how good they were. I was kind of worried that they weren't going to hold up, but I was really impressed by both of them, and just the 4K disc versions that they sell right now. They look really, really good, and there's nothing super offensive in either of those as far as changes.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, the only thing that I strongly disliked about the special edition stuff was is the musical number at the beginning of Jabba's palace.
Yeah,
That gets a little too cartoony for me, but I think everything else is pretty benign.
yeah.
Um,
I'll probably just kind of fast forward through that when we watch Jedi.
yeah.
Um, and Crate's Bane, I don't mean bored by saying zapped. I mean she is very focused in on the
Mhm.
movie, and like we were saying, she can kind of just get overwhelmed by how intense something is. But she was like very, very focused. I had forgotten how much falling action there is in
I
Jedi.
had too.
Like when they're trying to escape from Cloud City, and the Millennium Falcon like flies really close by the Superstar Destroyer, and Darth Vader is kind of like going back and forth with Luke, and she was super focused on that. It was really cute, actually. She thought that Darth Vader had gotten aboard the Millennium Falcon, which I think you could kind of
you could
you
understand.
can understand where you would think that, because it's kind of confusing, because it's like he's talking to Luke
like through the force.
through the Force.
Yeah.
I had totally forgotten about all of that. But yeah, she was sitting upright, you know, kind of.
She understands that Darth Vader is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever he's on screen, she's very
she's paying attention.
Well, and he has such, he's the most strikingly visual character in the whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to fixate on him.
Today she told me we were going to go out shopping and it was dark outside already, and she said, "I'm going to pull up my hood so I look scary." And I was like, "Why do you want to look scary?" She's like, "Well, Darth Vader is out there. I told Harry Potter to put on his invisibility cloak, but I don't need an invisibility cloak. I have my hood." Sometimes when we go out, she'll have her fist like this. What do you have in your hand? My sword. Okay. Can you put your sword down and hold my hand? You can hold my wrist. Okay.
How does she react to other characters? Is there anyone that she like resonates with or is interested in, or
Princess Leia?
Yeah.
Yeah. She also really likes. I think she really likes Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
We watch a lot of Star Wars clips before bedtime, and one that she likes a lot is where Luke gets knocked out by the Sand People, and then Obi-Wan comes to the rescue. One of the things that I've learned from watching these clips over and over with her is that those movies are really, really well made. And a lot of these clips stand up really well to watching them over and over and over again, because the soundtrack is really good, and there's just a lot of little detail in all of it that you pick up on rewatching. I'm not somebody who rewatches movies all the time, but I can see why people would watch Star Wars over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying to think, when I was a kid, I think I went through because Phantom Menace and the originals kind of went together for me. I kind of was like a duel between Qui-Gon and Luke being my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Wise mentions hating Jabba's palace as a kid. I did too.
Yeah,
I
it's gross.
I hated Jabba, I think, more than even like the Emperor.
Mhm.
Because he's gross and like everything is horrible. I
Mhm.
like how he he tortures droids.
Yep.
Like what? He's like so evil that he
Yeah.
tortures machines. Like what is that? And then I hated when he feeds the green girl to the Rancor.
Yeah.
Oh, that bothered me. That's yeah. I was always a chivalrous soul at heart, even
Hmm.
even as a lad. And yeah. Jabba is disgusting. And
I liked the scene where they try feeding them to the Sarlacc, and I liked the part where Leia comes to rescue Han. But other than that, I don't really like much of the Jabba's palace stuff either.
well, I like it that it pays off. Well, kind of like what you said. I like that it pays all builds up
Yeah.
and it pays off to that great fight, and then they
Mhm.
just blow up his barge in like the most spectacular way, and it just feels good, right? That all these scumbags get wasted.
Mhm. I like how R2D2 is put to work serving drinks.
Yeah. What a stroke of luck that Jabba decided to bring him along. Otherwise, Luke's plan would have been a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
I always liked that as a kid, that whole scene. Um, I have a distinct like impression of watching it at my aunt and uncle's with my cousins, my older boy cousins, right?
Hmm.
Who were cool, which just means that they weren't being mean to us at the time. Well, my dad had the VHSs,
Mm.
like the original theatrical version or whatever,
Yeah.
before the.
Oh, I totally screwed this up.
Well, you know, come to think of it, the whole Jabba sequence, that's the one now looking back is the most like visually like John Carter-esque.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Luke even jumps around a lot, right? Like
Mhm.
that's a
That's very
very
true. That's
yeah.
not something I'd ever thought of before, but you're right.
Yeah, so that's their little homage. Yeah, and they're on the floating ships, right? A boat that floats.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Nice.
I know the special editions, a lot of people don't like that in Empire that the Wampa becomes more visible. But that's one that I actually very much approve of because I remember being confused the first time I saw Empire
Mm-hmm.
because you don't see enough of the Wampa, and like it was actually kind of weird, odd to place it physically where it was in relation to Luke when he's stuck in the cave until it just pops out. I like it better that you get like a shot of it. It's like eating, and then it comes towards the camera, and like
Mm-hmm.
you understand that it's coming towards Luke.
Yeah,
Um,
that scene is very fast and honestly still kind of confusing, even in the special edition. I mean, like a lot of stuff happens at the beginning of Empire. A lot of random stuff.
yeah, it's a very dense movie visual, like
Yeah.
because it starts with I think the very first thing that happens. This is I gotta love this that this is how they started this movie is that a the probe droid is shot into space and then it hits Hoth and then it starts floating around in this really long sequence. And I can imagine, you know, at a time when there was just Star Wars and then Empire, and if someone was starting with Empire, they'd be like, "What in the
Mhm.
world? What is this?" Right? I
Yeah.
have no frame of reference for what's happening right now,
The
except
movie.
except the opening crawl. But
Yeah. The movie, and it takes its time getting going because the first thing that happens is Luke gets stuck in the Wampa Cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then they spend a lot of time waiting for Luke to come back and going to look for him. It's kind of creepy and sad. And then you get to see like the Tauntaun guts and all of that happens before. I mean, it's a good 15 or 20 minutes worth of stuff that happens before the actual Battle of Hoth.
Yeah, I missed all of Hoth, so I couldn't tell you how long
Yeah.
it was.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, while they were watching Empire, I was trying to put the baby down because he didn't go down the first time. It had to be put down a second time. I was mad.
I was really impressed though how the whole movie is building towards the Luke, I am your father moment. There's
Mhm.
so much dialogue and thematic stuff in the movie that is pointing towards that happening before you get there. It's really cool. And then I love the whole asteroid field, asteroid cave stuff. Every like that whole like all of that stuff is just wonderful stuff. Han and Leia's first kiss and the space battle, like going into the asteroid cave and coming out of it, is just really good.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I was struck by in that movie is how much quite detailed close-ups of the Millennium Falcon exterior that you see. There's a lot of scenes where Han or Chewie are like on top of it or near it, or scenes where like in Cloud City the Falcon lands and the characters get out of it, and it's like really prominently there as kind of like this focal point of a lot of shots.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the movie really doubles down on the Millennium Falcon being like the home base of the characters.
Yeah.
And really gives you a feel for like how big it is and what's in it. I didn't remember that aspect of it before, because A New Hope starts to do that, but then Empire really doubles down on it, really makes it feel like a real thing. Patrick's here.
Oh, hi, Patrick.
Hello.
How's
it going, guys? I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, so Doug Wise also says, as a kid, I was desperately curious about Bespin city life. Some of the empty rooms and residence Luke walks through when he and Vader are stalking each other look so distinctive. Yeah, all of that stuff looks really cool. And the Bespin exteriors I thought were really cool too. Some of those scenes like where they're flying really close to the city. I didn't remember all of that stuff. I just remember them kind of landing there and leaving. But that whole part felt way more fleshed out and real than I remembered.
But yeah, Bespin City was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I get because like it's so wrapped up in the whole plot of the betrayal, and then it's like deserted when Luke goes through there. So I always got like the creepy vibe. And then the Ugnaughts.
Yep, and the droid disassembling.
Yeah.
Subplot was really funny.
It's funny. Every Star Wars seems to have or in the original trilogy, there's always a little creature race that comes in. So like there's Jawas, there's Ugnaughts, and then there's Ewoks.
So something funny I noticed since you brought that up is that the guy who plays the Chief Jawa in A New Hope plays the Chief Ugnaught in Empire.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Cratespain says Art Deco Bespin is the new brutalism.
It's all very monochromatic too. It's all futuristic white. I guess Lucas was a bit ahead of his time with that. It looks like an Apple store.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Now, in addition to forgetting all of the falling action of that movie, I also forgot how much humor there is while Han is getting frozen in carbonite from the droids. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Is it because 3PO is on Chewbacca's back,
Yeah,
right?
he's like, I can't see. Turn around, I can't see.
Yeah. See, but it works there. Whereas I suppose something when they tried to do similar stuff with Jar Jar later on, it did not pay off as well.
Yeah, it's almost a bit much for me, even when C-3PO is doing it. C-3PO is starting to grate on me a little bit.
Yeah,
to be
yeah. Actually,
honest.
my least favorite C-3PO moments are actually in the asteroid chase, where like when everything is flying around or exploding around them, and C-3PO has this running commentary about how scared he is, right?
Yeah.
Or when he just goes, "Oh," like it's trying to sit that the machine can be surprised, but like
Yeah,
yeah,
when they first go into the asteroid belt and a couple of the asteroids like hit the ship, he's going like, ah.
yeah.
He's like covering his head with his arms.
Yeah, he's a very neurotic character.
I do enjoy when Han wants to quiet him. He puts his hand over his mouth.
Yeah.
Smart.
Well, they turn him off at some point, don't they? They just
Yeah, they
they
do.
finally just hit a switch and
Yeah.
I recently watched the Holy Trilogy with my oldest, 7, and I have seen him so many times that I always forget what my viewing experience was when I was a kid, and the Ewoks definitely grabbed her exactly like Master George Lucas wanted to. So
Mhm.
I feel like the marketing is still strong with what he ended up destroying his creation for.
Yeah. A clip that I showed our daughter a bunch is Leia meeting Wicket, and she likes that a lot. So I kind of think
Totally.
the Ewoks are going to be her favorite part of Jedi.
Probably.
Yeah.
No.
My daughter's favorite part for the first one is the medal ceremony because Princess Leia is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the things you could pick from there, it's the princess. It's like Disney destroying it all over again.
Wow.
But you know what? Something striking about Jedi and Endor. It's something that I actually kind of think about a lot because I have an interest in space opera. Is that in space adventure type settings, you rarely see a temperate forest like that.
Mm-hmm.
People rarely go into the woods in space, and I've never been able to quite decide why that is.
Yeah, if it's just too easy,
Too easy, yeah.
it's just not, doesn't seem too exotic.
I suppose because it seems like the desert is what everyone gravitates towards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you think like John Carter, you think of right, obviously Tatooine. I think even like in the Starship Troopers movie, right, everything is like a desert.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the forest, no, people don't seem to want to go. There's not much wooded planets in space for some reason.
Yeah, because humanity should never be around growing things. We should harvest water out in the desert.
And it's really too bad because
What
done
did
it.
you do?
I got it. Like the woods, right, has such a mythological grip on us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
Well, Stargate SG-1 had that really well with one of the. I think they had like 5 races, the secret races. Like the Asgard were one. They're your like stereotypical aliens, but then they had like planet people that were forest, and they kind of viewed their first encounter with them, they didn't know that they were these like chosen race, and you know, they look down upon them because, you know, they're covered in moss and they're really good character design, and it's like, you know, gross. And then like the end episode reveals like a backdrop, and there's like the cloud cover moves away, and there's the sprawling city that they've got. Like, oh, okay. So yeah.
I suppose it's harder to land a spaceship in the forest as well.
I suppose.
But, you know, I have memory. The Battlestar Galactica remake, they went into forests quite a bit. I feel like I remember there being moments amongst trees and such.
I have not.
But yeah,
really...
it helps make Jedi stand out though.
Yeah.
And I think it really hits, you know, that because George Lucas really likes like a noble savage type motif, or like nature overcoming brutalizing technology, and so for like the celebration against the defeat of the Empire to take place amongst trees like that, I think really gives it a nice finish.
Yeah.
And they could have edited on Kashyyyk with the Wookiee fight, but nope. We had to wait 18 movies for that one.
Wasn't Endor originally supposed to be Wookiees?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Of course, it would have made absolute sense, but you know, little guys. They're
Yeah,
cute.
well, yeah, you have to have the little aliens. That's all.
Yeah.
I do like Leia's turn back on Han's "I love you, I know" scene there after she gets shot in the arm. They always played well with like symmetry in those movies. Like you really hit the beats. You know, I have a really bad feeling about this, and they carry them through.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Doug Wiseman said, you can film in a desert and call it alien, but a forest you film in is going to have a specific forest biome in real life, unless it's CGI'd like crazy. Can we just acknowledge that it would have been so much better if Peter Jackson had just filmed in a real forest instead of building a crap forest for The Hobbit?
Probably.
And cut it down to one movie.
Yeah, that too.
2 movies tops. The book has a nice 2 break if you had to.
Anticlimactic.
No, we need a half-hour long scene of them in the barrels.
Oh, that was the worst.
Going down.
There's a necromancer, some odd reason.
Yeah, we have to have every conceivable, minute just flushed with activity.
Yo. Did you guys watch any of the videos that Peter did, vlog videos he took during the process at all?
No. Of The Hobbit?
Yeah, because I watched them as they came out.
All right, next.
Does he just apologize at the beginning and end of every one of them? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They put too much money in front of me. You would take it too.
Doug Wise is warning me not to mention the necromancer. And how Gandalf mentions it on the very last page of the book.
So the cameras that they were using were, I don't remember if it was
glorified GoPros.
Well, no.
No, they were the 60 frames a second one.
Yes, that's what it was. It was new technology, right? Because that's what Lord of the Rings is known for, is pushing the boundaries of cinematic tech.
The stupidest thing they could have done.
But the problem was that the cameras they were using sucked all the color out of things. So the forest that they built for Mirkwood is actually has like splashes of neon color because they had to make everything super, super vibrant. It looks utterly stupid in real life, and just because they ended up doing a whole bunch of touch up afterwards, right? It just looks like crap on the screen. That's my opinion anyway.
I'm not too hard on the Hobbit movies, but I think there are definitely. I think I'm with most of like the major complaints. I think I posted about it before once that I always thought from the book too that I really like the character of the Goblin King.
Yeah.
Something that I always liked in the book too is that they were referred to as goblins instead of orcs. And I think Tolkien retcons that in Lord of the Rings, that goblin is just like the elvish word for orc, but
Like that,
I
yeah.
I like to think that they were like two distinct like races.
It's fun.
But yeah, I always thought that the Goblin King should have taken on Azog's role in the Jackson movies. That would have been
Yeah.
cool if there was an orcish, a more proper foil to Thorin Oakenshield.
Mhm.
Because like the Goblin King is also a king
Need
under
that.
a mountain, right? And so he could
Yeah.
like represent everything that Thorin would be tempted to becoming, and it'd be really neat. But
Great.
Mhm.
Well,
And he's really
he
controlled by Tom Bombadil, the ultimate king.
well, yes, everything, the arc of history bends towards Tom Bombadil's grand design. But
Oh,
it's-
Gandalf's got a different kind of cape.
Yeah, so last time we were mentioning the sort of papery capes. Gandalf has an actual cloth cape with just one hedge hole.
So
And he's got a skirt this time. So all of my Gandalf figures from the original Fellowship line are just normal legs, I believe.
mm,
what I was going to say is the Goblin King would have made a good first movie antagonist. Wrap it up with his death, right? So you have two movies. Goblin King is the main, like the central finale. Sorry, I'm waving my hand in front of the camera here while I'm talking. Conflict, right? And then the dragon at the end.
Gandalf has only one face and it's kind of mad.
Aw,
But
bummer.
you don't see it because his beard covers up his mouth.
Yeah. But see, if episode 1 can give us talk of trade embargoes, then I need the same thing for the how much gold the townspeople get versus
Oh no.
what they don't want. That I want negotiations back and forth, heated, very very close up pictures of faces, a few Marvel quips in there, and then it ends with like a cut to Peter Jackson's Dead Alive movie with like the horror babies and zombies, and then I would love it. Make it utterly ridiculous. Tie all the universes together.
the Jackson cinematic universe.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
So-
that'd be perfect. If the if King Kong showed up, I mean, if we're talking
Yeah.
what, multiple Oscars at that point, like
I feel like the original trilogy had more of that sense of kind of campy horror
Mhm.
to it than the Hobbit movies did too.
Yeah.
That was one thing I liked more of the original trilogy. That some of that stuff was just kind of gone
Yeah.
from the Hobbit. It was all just CGI, video gamey
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Here's his hat.
the third Hobbit movie was really weak. I remember when the giant worms showed up, that like I just kind of spaced out and
Are
like
you sure you're not
regretted
talking about King Kong? Because that might be King Kong.
Oh, that's right. There are giant. Oh my god, they are all connected. You're right.
So,
Wow.
who knows if it'll ever see the light of day? But I actually wrote an article about the Hobbit and the myth of the American superhero, sort of contrasting how the book follows more of the classic hero's journey, and the movie puts Thorin in the role of an American superhero myth, and it's supposedly going in a book somewhere, but I haven't heard anything for months.
I was just gonna say that Jack Black should have played Bilbo.
Yes.
It would have made all
You know
those
what?
songs a little bit more upbeat, though.
No, that would have been better. Martin Freeman as Bilbo is my biggest gripe because he totally gets Bilbo wrong. Bilbo is like this jovial, like English guy, right? Who reference, you know, like who kind of has
Yeah.
like this serious temperament, but he's kind of an optimist, and he's like a
He's-
worldly gentleman. And Martin
I-
Freeman just plays him. Martin Freeman plays like C-3PO. Like he's prissy and upset and neurotic and like. Ugh,
Martin
He's
Freeman.
very
Martin Freeman is one of those actors that he's not a bad actor, but he just basically plays the same character in every movie that he's in,
yeah.
and it's just it's just Martin Freeman. It's not really Bilbo.
He topped
Well,
out
I
at
think-
Watson.
I think he does a fairly good job of playing the Baggins side, right? Put on your professional manner, and the one you use with telemarketers and bully people into like listening to you, and sort of be wanting to be home, that
Mhm.
kind of person. But he
Mhm.
totally fails at capturing the Tookish side.
Hmm.
The chat is disagreeing.
Disagreeing.
They don't.
Didn't mind.
They like the casting.
Okay.
There are bigger problems in the movie than the casting, in my opinion. But
It's
I-
existence, right? Yeah,
I like Freeman in general, so I'm not saying at all that I.
I like that he's the token white guy in Black Panther.
That's. He was very good in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie. He made a
Oh.
very good Arthur Dent.
I don't even remember him in that.
yeah, he's the main character of that, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of things wrong with that one, but man, that's a great Americanized version
It's
of
been
a
a
great
very long
British
time for
book.
me.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
never seen that. He's in Hot Fuzz and At World's End.
Yes.
He's got a kind of a small role in Hot Fuzz and a bigger role in At World's End. I like him a lot in both those movies.
Yeah.
We gotta watch Hot Fuzz soon. That's like my favorite. For some reason, I associate that movie with fall.
One of my favorites.
So
The Fall of
Where is it?
Society.
Please. If you ever see another one like this, it doesn't have to be
Oh.
exact.
William Jeffrey Rankin says Jack Black is Tom Bombadil.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
I could see
I think
that.
he'd be great as Tom Bombadil.
You'd get
But,
sort
I
of
mean,
a
he'd
sense.
always play it over the top.
Mhm.
Over the top.
Well, that's part of like he would play it with that sort of irreverent feel to him,
Mhm.
someone who's not taking things seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
you
a true Tom Bombadil would have to break the fourth wall and like continuously wink at the camera.
Yeah, which is kind of what Jack Black does in a lot of his roles. I feel like
Put it on wrong.
he's sort of doing that. I mean, not explicitly, but there's a lot of winking in his roles.
What have I done? Guys,
One of my favorite movies is Nacho Libre. Katie doesn't really like that movie, but it's one of my favorites.
I think it's fine. I think it's better than
Napoleon.
Dynamite. It's not my favorite, guys. Where am I? This is like the weirdest little piece, and I've been completely lost.
What are you looking for? Are you looking for another one of those?
No, I'm not.
What are you looking for?
I'm now looking for a long, flat, gray piece. It's not. No, it's flat. Flat. There it is. Thank you. That is going to help me to orient this correctly.
Yeah, I gotta watch Napoleon Dynamite again. That one's That's one that I haven't seen in
There it
ages.
is.
I remember being mostly confused by Napoleon Dynamite. Like, just not getting what I was supposed to be getting out of it.
It's a movie that is, I think, like Nacho Libre. It's a movie that a lot of the humor is just visual. It's just, it looks funny. The characters are standing around and they're doing things. They're not saying a whole lot always, but it's visually funny.
Babe, I need all of these.
You need all of them?
telescopes.
Okay. And it's kind of like a bunch of skits, right? I mean, there is an overall plot to it, but it's just a movie that you kind of have to enjoy each little scene for what it is.
I just like the GIFs. GIFs?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Chat.
This is
how do you
going to
pronounce
divide the
GIF?
community. Nope. Shut it down now.
If I was writing,
Well, and
everyone would know what I was
that's why
talking about.
that's why you like the GIFs, is because it's they're visually striking,
yeah.
and visually funny.
Okay, make sure I got all of that and all of this. And okay. Here you go, my love.
Okay.
Great Spain.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Do you pronounce it GIF or GIF?
That's a topic where death of the author can come into parlance.
Yeah, all of a sudden, all the the author can decide what his stuff means. They all vanish when we're talking about GIFs, because it's definitely
Yeah.
pronounced GIF.
Or maybe it's part of the hero's journey. Like, they're the hero's wrong, and he's just got to come back into with this.
Dark Knight
Conrad
of
does
the
it
Soul.
again.
Doug Wise, before I mentioned GIF, said that he was imagining the scene in Rivendell where they mentioned they can't give the ring to Tom in a new light, imagining that it's Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. It works too well. It's eerie. Because, like, you can just see him in that costume.
Yeah.
He'd have the ring and the pick of destiny, and he can't have both.
I was gonna say he just drop kicks the ring off a bridge.
That's how I roll, bro.
Yeah. That's how I roll.
Oh, God.
Frodo is just looking on,
It's just
shocked.
Tom Bombadil is Nacho Libre is Jack Black.
Yeah. What does he say? I forget. It's something like, "You've taken something I love, so now I'm going to take something that you love."
Yeah. Fun Jack Black trivia. I believe his first ever role. This is something that Gen X will like. That I know this. That his first role was that he was the pilot of the seaplane in Waterworld for
Yep.
Kevin Costner.
That's true.
Oh, such a good movie.
I saw parts of that movie a long time ago on TV. I've never actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
I was there at the beginning in the theaters.
Nice.
Smokers.
But yeah, I came across that Free Narnian. I came across that a while back, and that's definitely true. And I think it might be like, I don't know if it's even credited. It's a pretty small.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost an extra, basically, for the amount of screen time he has. But you can tell it's him when you see that when he comes on. You know it's that's how long he's just been playing himself his whole career.
Well, that's a fancy piece. What is that?
It's a pillar. I've got to make another one. Yeah, I like Jack Black a lot.
I couldn't get it in focus here.
A lot of people think he's annoying, but I like him myself because he always at least seems like he's just having fun,
Yep.
and I can appreciate that, than a lot of other things.
In the shutdowns, he wasn't it during the shutdowns where he was losing weight? And he did that
I think so. Yeah.
video series about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just himself,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just happy, and like he's doing these exercises, and like stuff that would make me just be like, yeah, I'm done, right?
I like how his being a musician kind of comes into everything that he does. There's kind of either his roles usually have him actually being a musician, like School of Rock or Nacho Libre, like he sings these songs and stuff, or there's just kind of a poetry to the way he talks and his line, like even the little bit part that he is in Anchorman. It's like it's very I don't know. It's just I mean that's him. It's like his voice is kind of poetic and musical.
Hey, babe, was there a note at one point about something?
About what?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I thought there was, but you didn't read anything about it. Oh yeah, here. When we were building this little section. This build has everything: triangles, teal, ferns, and matched wedge plates.
Okay.
I guess it wasn't anything interesting.
William Jeffrey Rankin mentions that Jack Black was in X-Files.
Really?
Way back, maybe in the 3rd season.
Huh.
That's another show that I really need to watch that I haven't watched.
Oh yeah,
I have.
That's one's going to be family time.
Yep. Yep.
Like, all right, back in the 90s, we didn't trust our government, and we thought that they would be capable of anything. We still don't trust our government, but they're capable of nothing.
Yes.
When they tell us that aliens are real, we know that they're not real because they couldn't do it.
And Michael Caine had out. He's probably gone already, but thanks for coming, Michael Caine.
I've seen one episode of the X-Files, and I remember vividly. I was up late at night, and it was on. I think a friend of mine was showing it to me, and it was the freakiest thing. It was about a circus freak, and he had a tumor, and like a little guy crawled out of the tumor at night and strangled people.
Yeah.
And I was, what is this? And that was it. That's been my experience with the X-Files.
Very similar over here. Yep. Everything I've ever seen made me go, why did I watch that?
What?
Did you? So have you seen episodes of it? I've never seen an episode of it.
I've seen episodes of it.
Okay. I mean, I know the general premise of the show, but I've never.
Oh man, I was on the first message boards back in the day.
Oh wow.
So had both their FBI agent numbers memorized.
Huh.
Yeah, where am I? There it is. Okay.
I don't think X-Files is on any of the streaming services that we've ever had.
Maybe on FX.
I think I saw some at my grandparents because they pretty much always had the TV on in the evening. And I know that I saw at least one for my horror class in college. But I don't remember.
Okay, it's on Freevee, which is free. So I'll have to Amazon Freevee. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any of it.
Babe, I'm gonna do this page too because
go for it.
Just a couple of blocks a piece here.
I watched
pass it back.
I watched Twin Peaks a couple of years ago, and that was awesome.
Oh,
that
man.
was definitely not something I regret watching. Very, very good. Very, very good stuff. I watched that when our daughter was born, when I was on paternity leave. So I'm always going to associate it with that.
I went back and watched Southlands when I was on my paternity leave. Just like bad cops being bad cops.
There we go. That's what I was.
Going back to the X-Files real quick. I think that was the start of the downfall of letting down the core audience, because when the movie came out, they had on VHS they had the scene from the deleted scene that explained like the entire background of what you were exactly waiting for any movie, which was like Mulder's sister's disappearance, what happened to her, and then like the big conspiracy theory. You had this like great scene with the well-manicured man who like explained everything, and then they took it out because there were people that were going to be watching it that weren't fans, and they didn't want to confuse people. Like, what, we were waiting for like 7 years for this one scene, and you couldn't give it to us? Terrible.
Did it get put back in a director's cut or something, though?
Probably. It's so weird because Chris Carter was always like on top of his game for having creative control, and he just let that happen. And he never did anything good ever again.
Yeah.
And then Vince Gilligan went on to do some little show about drugs. I don't remember what it's called, but
no.
The X-Files has a great concept, right? And it's an older style of show where you could have where things are truly episodic, and you can have an episode that's its own story, rather than everything is one large overarching story, right, across multiple seasons.
Yeah,
and
you can literally have the monster of the week and then still tie it in a little bit with like the overall book of the story.
The first couple seasons of Supernatural are like that. Several years ago, Katie and I watched. It's probably two or three, at least two.
It had to be before the kids.
Yeah.
I would not have watched that with kids.
But how many seasons? It was. We watched at least a couple seasons of Supernatural, and it was like that, where there was a bit of an overarching story, but it was mostly just the monster of the week, and they kind of go through all the different horror tropes. It was really kind of a nice show. We kind of quit before it got into any of the big,
larger plot,
big storyline stuff, but
that all of the fangirls love.
Yeah.
I tried to get into Fringe, and I like it for the most part, but like there's nobody there with chemistry. It's all just soury people, and then the crazy doctor who doesn't let the king come back to his throne.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the show with Denethor in it, right?
Yeah. But like there's the female like FBI agent or whoever, and she's just very blank in the whole thing, and I'm like, this isn't Mulder, this isn't Scully. You need somebody who's fun in there, and you bring the thief kid into it, and at least for season 1 they don't do anything with it, so I just kind of got bored with it because there's nobody there. There's cool like sciencey things, but there's not much.
Oh yeah, we were still in the apartment.
Oh yeah, when we were watching Supernatural. Yeah. That was a long time ago. That was, I think, 2016 about. Because I used to
before the wood paneling.
Yeah, I used to sit with my work laptop when I was still using my work laptop for personal projects. I used to sit on the couch and we'd watch like 3 or 4 episodes, and I would program while we were watching. It was pretty creepy sometimes, though.
So we didn't have wood paneling, but we were still in a basement.
Yeah,
because we had a nice sized apartment, but it was sub-level.
Yeah, it was so it was kind of like half underground. So the windows looked out, but they were, normal window height. So there weren't full, there wasn't a patio that you could go out.
Right.
So it was kind of dark.
Yeah. The windows were like normal height from the inside and level with the ground from the outside / slightly downhill.
Yep.
And yes, that became a problem.
Yeah.
as one might imagine.
In a hole in the ground, there lived a couple of rooms.
It was fun.
Fly Fox Pro says he could never get into
Supernatural.
Supernatural. Yeah, I think it
started out too confrontational, like between the characters, I felt like. I didn't feel it felt like they were bringing baggage, as characters, their back history and stuff. And
yeah. I mean, they saw their mom get killed by a demon.
Right. Right. That's what I like. Instead of being like, that the sort of idea that you have of Supernatural when you hear about it is like there's like this brotherly bond, right? And like there isn't that. And so the general feel is less, we're gonna go kill demons together. And
then there's all the family drama because it turns out their dad is alive and he's like, I don't know, it's just kind
brooding.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
it
that's
is.
where like Buffy and Angel did it well, where you had the darkness, but you had the decently written humor over it.
Buffy, that's another show that we started watching and noped out of.
Yeah, I don't remember why.
And I don't think it was anything in particular. We just didn't care to keep watching.
Yeah.
I think we watched
90s.
No, it was just, I don't know. It was like 5 episodes in and we were just kind of like, well,
where am I going with this?
I myself missed kind of the zeitgeist on all those shows. I never saw any Buffy. I knew people who like Supernatural, but it never really intrigued me. I think the only thing of that era, a show like that of that era, was the Battlestar Galactica remake series. I remember watching that.
I think the TV companies spy on me like the government does, because anytime that I like a show, they'll immediately cancel it. So, there's of course Firefly, which I apologize to everybody for. But then, I really liked Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles, especially that second season. It was really going places. It literally ended with a bang. I was like, great! I can't wait to see what they're doing. They've, had season 2, so season 3, nope, canceled. So I just wait until all these shows come out, and then I can actually watch a full show.
I'm glad that, and maybe this is a horrible thing to say, but I'm glad that Firefly got canned before they could ruin it. Because they would have.
Fly Fox Pro says hiring Summer Glau is the kiss of death for any series.
And she never did anything ever again.
Yeah, Firefly is one of those shows that I understand why people like, and I liked a lot.
I liked it a lot more before we got married.
Yeah, and then I ruined it for Katie.
He ruins everything. Whenever there's a show that I like, he always picks out the girl who is flaky.
A bitch.
I wasn't gonna say a bitch. And he's like, why does she act like that? And then all of a sudden I can't see past him.
Yeah, because your eyes are opened and you see just how
what was the other show you did that to?
That BBC Merlin. BBC Merlin.
I used to love Merlin, and then he's like, every time Gwen comes out, he makes some snide comment.
I made fun of her looks because she's a very homely looking character.
You made fun of her in other ways too.
But I think I made fun of what's her face too, Morgana.
Morgana.
Yeah. Yeah. The big problem I have with Firefly is that Inara is a deeply, deeply unlikable person in just about every way, and the the writers of the show very obviously really, really want you to like her and be sympathetic with her. And I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with having an unlikable character, but you shouldn't feel like you're like you're supposed to like her.
Yeah, like in the very first episode, isn't it the first episode? They have like the shepherd kneeling in front of her, and she puts her hand on his head, and it's like this iconic shot.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this?
Yeah, and it's like you're supposed to feel bad for her when she and Mal have their little like swing and a miss thing.
But
like,
it's always her fault.
It's like you had it coming. Like, I don't feel bad for you. You're just, every time that you two of you interact, you're super nasty to him. Why am I supposed to feel bad that when your feelings are hurt? It's like you have that coming. So
Maybe it's
annoying.
just not good to fall in love with horrors.
Yes.
What?
It's like,
Yeah,
and the show just tries so hard. It's like you're supposed to be sympathetic towards her, and it's just like I don't like this character.
I never even paid attention to her before. And then David makes a couple of comments,
Well,
and now I can't see past
I
her.
mean,
Every
the-
time she's on the screen, I hate my life.
The thing is she's the, I mean, who do you have for attractive women on the show, right? You have
Zoe.
You have
Kaylee.
You have Zoe, and you have her. I mean, Summer Glau's like a weird alien teenager, so she's not in the running. Zoe is the badass, the badass woman, and she's like your friend. So she's not really somebody who's like, I don't know. I think of Zoe as a friend.
Well, she's like married.
Yeah.
And happily married.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
To the nerdy guy.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Which also doesn't make any sense. It's a
I
stupid...
mean, we all want to see ourselves as Mal, but
Yeah,
we
it's a
really
stupid-
know we're all wash.
Yeah, it's a stupid fantasy, right? So that's dumb, right? So who are you left with? You're left with Kaylee, who is obviously the best girl. She's cute. She's an engineer. She's feminine but not stuck up. It's like, okay, it's Kaylee. And then Inara is very obviously very, very attractive, but she's just a bitch. So and it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Like, you very obviously want me to like this character a lot, but there's no reason for me to.
You gotta fall in love with Vera, Jane's gun. That's the way it goes.
You know, a show that I really wanted to like and I was excited for, but I just couldn't bring myself to go past a couple of episodes was a True Detective.
Oh,
I was very excited for it because I heard that they referenced The King in Yellow a lot, which, as you know, is a favorite book of mine, and I was very psyched for it. And I was trying to get into it, and I'm like, this is like, I feel like I'm eating the color gray by watching this show, and I couldn't past like 3 or so episodes, and I just couldn't take anymore.
So I remember everyone hated, I think, season 2, and then season 3 got a good rap. So I went back and watched season 1, and I was Googling like every way possible with quotes and everything. Why is season 1 good? And every search return was like, season 1 was excellent, but what's up with season 2? No. I need someone to tell me why season 1 is good.
Is season 1 the one with Alexandra
Harrelson?
Daddario? Because that might be the answer. That might be the answer.
No, it's I don't know, but all I saw was this Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson just being two very miserable people,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, why am I spending my time with this? I can't. I'm gonna go read The King in Yellow instead. I can't take this anymore. But a show that was like that I did like. I liked the first season of Fargo.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That one, which had Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
That was I remember there's a great scene in that with Billy Bob Thornton where
Yeah, he
he's
was a great
idling.
villain.
Yeah, he was so perfect in that. I loved the scene where he's idling in his car, and the cop comes up to him, and Billy Bob Thornton just goes, "So here's what's gonna happen, officer. You're gonna turn around and you're gonna pretend that you didn't see me here tonight." And he goes, "Well, why would I do that?" Billy Bob Thornton just stares off his face and he goes, "Because maps used to say, 'Here there be dragons.'" Right, like this totally like out there statement, but he just delivers it so deadpan and with so much authenticity. It's just great.
I thought you were gonna say a cop. He's sitting in his car, and a cop comes up and is like, "Why are you sitting here?" What was that
Yeah.
one? And who's your friend?
Yeah.
And
Why is
I
your
want to
friend
know
coming to meet you?
names, places, prices.
Did you guys see that video?
No, oh, was on X,
Yes.
the British guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The guy. Wait, was that a bit? Was that real?
It almost seemed fake. Like it was a little bit too perfect.
Yeah,
But
the guy
why-
didn't look
Why
like
aren't
a
you at the
cop.
train station? I am at the train station. Why is your friend coming to visit you? Or it's like
because
he wants to see me. You think I have nothing better to do than stand here be talking to a commoner like you?
It's gotta be. It can't be. It's too nonsensical.
Well, the guy just looked like some guy in a vest. Like he didn't, look like a real. I don't know. I mean, what do I know? I don't know what cops in the UK are supposed to look like, but
Just don't tell them that they look like a lesbian.
Yikes.
Okay, we're missing a candlestick.
Uh-oh. Did I build it into something? There was.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them there.
Yep. My bad. I was over enthusiastic. William Jeffrey Rankin's taking off. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for coming.
do you have a license for that?
Yeah.
Did you see? There was a clip making the rounds today of the ring of the. Wait, is it the rings of power? About orcs not being inherently evil. It was shocking. It was the first time I've ever seen anything from that show, and it was about. I can't quote it exactly, but it was like to the effect that this guy was talking to Galadriel, who is nothing like Galadriel, and telling her that orcs have as much right to live as elves, and because we're all created, we all have the same. We all come from the same great being.
Gosh.
Yada yada, and I remember it brought me back to that thing that I thought about, like Star Wars shows. It's like it feels like someone had an idea for a fantasy show, and then they wrote a script for that, but then they couldn't get it produced without having a brand, right? A recognizable brand trademark.
Mm-hmm.
And so it got made into a Lord of the Rings show, and it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Welcome to the last 3 iterations of Star Trek.
Yeah, I was shocked when I heard basically what the plots for those shows were. It's like, what is this garbage? It doesn't sound anything like Star Trek.
Oh, we don't want to start me on that road.
Yeah.
You guys want to
Patrick's
go to bed
a
sometime.
big Star Trek guy.
Just because I include at least one reference in every apologetics episode that I do. All right, this is like the Klingons.
A show that I've wanted to watch for a while is Deep Space Nine. A lot of people have
Yes.
recommended that to me. I haven't gotten around to it yet, though.
Oh,
But,
it's definitely one of Katie's favorites. It's the dark version of Star Trek.
Well, I'm kind of into it. Because
Did you ever watch Babylon 5?
No, I didn't.
Oh, so Babylon 5 is a darker version of Deep Space Nine. It's
Okay.
amazing.
So on like the gradient scale, we have
Yeah.
like regular Star Trek, then Deep Space Nine, then Babylon 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
with Battlestar Galactica in between those two.
Okay. Okay. Wait, which one? The original series? or...
The remake. The remake.
Okay.
Yeah, not the Mormon one.
We don't talk about the original Battlestar Galactica.
I like the original Battlestar Galactica movie. When they made a movie out of like the first few episodes.
What is that?
And they used Star Wars to make a few episodes.
Yeah. Well, they used Star Wars to make the whole show almost. I like the casino planet run by bugs.
And then Star Wars had a casino planet run by everybody.
Yes.
One more bag? Or
Sure.
or should we call it?
What time is it? It's 11:46.
Are you guys wanting to hang out a little bit more, or are you ready to call it?
All right, so here's every episode of Star Wars that I like in descending order.
We've got a couple more pieces.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not a very long list. It's only 6 movies, so.
No, there's droids. We have to go back to the animated series.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that was it. Well, you're
I'm
you're
pretty beat.
We should probably call it. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Yeah, it was fun to have Patrick on.
Yeah,
Thanks for doing this on one of my days off.
yeah, and we made some really good progress. So we've got this railing, we have this whole piece, this arch here. I think is really cool because you can really start to see how this is turning into actual building, and this kind of high area, which is going to be an interior area, again, is just like something that you will not see in small Lego sets. Like just enclosing this much space takes a big set to do. It's just very cool to see. Look at that. Ugh.
Nice. Fly Fox Pro has some Deep Space Nine, TNG, Babylon 5 comments here.
I started watching.
Patrick's already on top of
I
it.
started watching Babylon 5 recently because it was on Tubi.
The Blu-ray's coming out soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to make the graphics any good. They're awful.
I was actually quite impressed by the graphics. Like given the time that it was made, I think they look pretty good, and I like how the space flight is more realistic.
Yeah, with the actual bullets. I think there's a show that did that a little bit before that called Space and Above and Beyond. It's like maybe a season and a half, but it does those like, hey, if we're in space, we can just do a 180-degree turn and not have to worry about things like gravity.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and all my stuff works like that. It's kind of magic spaceships, but they move like real spaceships would move, not like not like Star Wars spaceships, which are like planes in space. So it was I actually really liked the space battle stuff in it, because it was like, oh, I can actually make this myself.
The mythos is really good.
Mhm.
And time travel is in there a little bit, but it's used very sparingly as far as like knowledge base.
Sure.
But it deals a lot well with like a universal religion, and that's something that I just never see. Like, I collect sci-fi books that even remotely mention in a negative way religion, because I think just Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke got together and conspired with everybody and was like, all right, when mankind ascends to like FTL, then all religion just disappears and no one ever
Mhm.
mentions it again.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's good stuff though. All right, well, I think we're gonna call it here, but thanks everyone for coming. Thanks to everyone in the chat for hanging out, and we're gonna do this again soon, because I think we're building some momentum on this
Yeah, feeling
and
good.
starting to see things coming together really fast. So I'm not feeling like doing a whole lot else in the evenings lately. I'm kind of zapped with my day job, and it's fun just to work on this in the evening and feel like we're making some progress. So
Yeah.
so we'll try to do this again soon. I'm guessing that we'll probably do this some night this weekend, because I think we're going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I want to start seeing this come together. We were admiring some sets in Target today. They have the Viking Village at our local Target, so we've got some good stuff to do after this, once we get a little farther with it.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
see you later.
Right.
Everybody have a good night.
Good night,
Thanks.
gamers.